Ray. You got me running, got me running. Shake it, shake it, shake it, baby. Raise your hands up. Raise them up.
Good evening, good evening, good evening, and welcome to the After Dark Show. Another episode, guys. We are back, and how are you? I would just like to thank you for being here this evening and welcome you. Those of you who are on Facebook, those of you who are on YouTube, those of you who are on MediaNet Live TV, welcome, welcome, welcome. And as you are coming in, I just want to find out, what was your week? What's your weekend been like? Now, today hasn't been very nice in terms of weather, but the weekend was very, very nice. And the weekend, I had an amazing weekend. I was at the Des O'Connor event and I spoke live on stage, and it's been like 18 months since speaking live on a stage. I mean, let's face it, I'm here every week and I speak on this platform every single week, but it's slightly different from when you're doing a live talk about the things that you do and the things that inspire you and the things that you love. And, you know, when you own your own voice, there's nothing more exhilarating than, you know, being up there and talking your truth and inspiring others. So I had a fantastic weekend. Then I went to a catwalk show, which was fantastic. And I was actually battered at the end. I was so tired, but never mind. I'm here today. So we have an amazing guest today. Now, what I want to talk to you about is what you're attracting. This is what we're going to be talking about today. Now, most of the people on this platform, people listen in from all over the world, and we talk about relationships and what makes relationships special. But there are some people who have been struggling in their relationships and struggling to attract their ideal partner, their ideal mate. And so today we have a specialist on our guest as a guest today, all the way from Swansea, yes, in Wales, and she is online tonight, and she will be one of the speakers at the After Dark retreat. And we will be playing. Do we have the After Dark retreat advert ready? Can we play that? If we could just go to the retreat, we're going to play it again later on in the show. But I want you to see what we are doing and invite you to come and join us. And I'll be back right after this. Welcome to the R Retreat, located at Northamptonshire's Whittlebury Hall complex, a 4-star hotel providing a luxury spa and golfing experience with the finest food and sports facilities. Absolutely everything that you could ask for to relax and recharge. But not only that, we have provided the best relationship and well-being speaker experts to empower you, to give you tools, tips and strategies of how to develop and grow your own relationships with self and with others. So come and recharge, re-energize, realign and rebuild. Book your place today at the R Retreat, Whittlebury Hall, Northamptonshire. This is the time for you and you alone to give back to you. And so there you have it, the R Retreat that's going on from the 29th to the 31st of October. We have about 6 or 7 weeks left. So it is vital that you start to get your stuff together and get your tickets now. It is going to be incredible. We've had so much people inquire about this and want to know how they can get involved. Now, if you contact me on www.yvonnemichelle.com, if you go onto my website, you will see that the R retreat is there. So that is www.yvonnemichelle.com. Yeah, it's very, very easy. It's my name, Yvonne Michelle with one L.com. And you will see that you'll see the link for the R retreat. Just look at the top and you'll see R retreat. Click the link and all the information is there. But we'll play that a little bit later on in the show. But for now, we are now going to welcome our guest into the studio. And it's no other than Laura Hill. So, Laura Hill, good evening, good evening, good evening.
Hello, all the way from Wales. How is everybody?
Hi, how are you doing?
I'm all right, Yvonne. Brilliant, thank
Okay.
you. Really excited to be here.
Fantastic. So let's just check our levels that we can hear you. Can everyone hear? I'm finding it a little bit difficult in the studio. Just make sure that I can hear you loud and clear. So
I'll
just
turn it up.
okay. So Laura, just talk and just tell our viewers a little bit about yourself before we get into conversation.
Okay, so my name's Laura. I'm from Swansea in Wales. I'm a single mum to one teenage son. I work full time for a domestic abuse charity, supporting women and children with emotional support. And I'm a law of attraction life coach as well. So today I'm going to be focusing on that for the show, and hopefully we'll have a really good time as well.
Fantastic. Fantastic. Yeah, that's great. So we can hear your levels now. So, okay. So, guys, those of you who are on Facebook, those of you who are on YouTube, those of you who are on MediaNet Live TV, what I'm going to ask you to do is to send this out to your networks. Let us create a buzz tonight because we are talking about the law of attraction. We are talking about how we attract those things that we really desire in our life. And every single person, whether they're your friends, family, or frenemy, it doesn't matter who they are, they can learn something out of the show tonight. And as we know, this show is all about learning. It's all about what we can glean from this and how we can better our lives as we go along. So welcome, Laura. Welcome. I'm so excited to have you here on the show. And I know that you've been in the background of recent weeks. You've been part of our show. You've been putting your messages in and all sorts. So it's really lovely to have you on the show this evening. So welcome.
Thank you very much.
Okay, so Laura, so as you were saying, you were talking before and you were saying that you are a law of attraction coach.
Yes.
So just explain to our viewers a little bit about what that is.
Okay, so the law of attraction is one of the universal laws. So the easiest way for me to describe it is that like attracts like. So if you imagine a magnet, when we're being positive, okay, we are going to get more positivity back and more nice and happy circumstances come back. If we're feeling negative and sad and down, we find that we're going to attract more sad and happy times into our life. So it is really about having a positive mindset and being mindful of our thoughts, because our thoughts attract things. Another way I describe it as, Yvonne, is when I'm having thoughts, I imagine, when somebody is skimming a stone into a lake or a river and the ripples come out. So if we
Yeah.
imagine that our thoughts ripple out and surround everybody and everything around us. So when we're being positive, we'll find everybody is uplifted around us. And when we're being negative, that affects everybody around us as well. And likewise with others to us, if that makes sense.
Yes.
Yeah. So when you start practicing the mindset of the law of attraction, you will find that you are more aware of your thoughts. And that's a difficult part in the beginning, because you start picking up on negativity and how your thoughts are. So you actually try and check yourself and turn it around. So that's the start of it, really.
Okay, so So, Laurie, thank you for the explanation as to what it is. So, over recent weeks, you've listened to some of our other coaches, other speakers that are going to be at the R retreat, and we've spoken about letting go. We've spoken about why we choose the person that we choose, and we've spoken about how to find your ideal partner. Now we're going to go a bit further back, and we're going to go a bit deeper, because really and truly, we know that people, men and women, are struggling to find their ideal partner. And one of the things that I hear a lot is there are no men out there. And I'm going to say that I'm hearing this from women, right? Let's just make it very clear. Now, this show is a demographic of, I would say, probably the majority is 40 upwards, yeah, the age of 40 upwards. But we do have younger people who listen into the show as well. So we don't discriminate in terms of age, but we know that on average, the people who listen to the show are 40 plus. And so some of the women have been saying there are no men. They're either dead, or they're married, or they are gay, right? So
Yeah.
there are no single men left for them. So in terms of the law of attraction, I'm just going to open it up and say, I want us to kind of really explore our language, and how that affects how we draw what we draw. And I really want you to just be bold and be straight with our listeners, because in order for things to change, we know that we first have to change, and that starts with what comes out of our mouth. So I'm going to hand over to you in terms of, when somebody says there are no men, or there are no women, there's no decent, that's what I hear from a lot of men, there are no decent women out there. What are they actually doing to themselves, Laura?
Well, I'm going to be very bold. So they are actually putting up resistance, and they're actually pushing their ideal person away. So they don't think they're doing that because they are trying to find someone. They may be on the dating sites. I've been there myself, okay? I've had, unwanted, unsolicited pictures back after a conversation. I'm not going to go into that, but I'm sure the viewers know what I mean, all right? You go on a date, you get ghosted. And then each sort of failure and each experience like that, it builds up. We feel hurt, we feel rejected, and those feelings create a barrier, we create a wall, and that builds up like iron around us. And, there is no room to let someone in. So we have to be very careful with the language we're using and our perceptions of this, because there are good men there. There'll be men watching the show tonight, which I'm sure would love a decent woman, there'd be and vice versa. And at the R retreat, I'm sure there's going to be lots of singles there who really want to meet the woman or the man of their dreams. So how do we do this? Well, I think you've got to go back to basics, and we have spoken about self-love before. So when you've had a breakup, okay, it takes quite a long time to heal. They do say that however long you've been with someone, it can take like the same amount of time to heal from that relationship. So when you have broken up or had a bad dating experience, you need to give yourself time to heal, to work on yourself, self-love, motivate yourself, and get into a good place. Then you're going to be in a position for attracting. It all starts with you. It has to start with you and how you feel about yourself. If you've got the mindset of there's no decent men, when you turn up for a date, you've got that stuck in your head, you're sending that out like the ripple effect, and that's what's going to come back to you. So if you change that, I mean, there's thousands, millions, billions of people in this world. There is somebody for everybody, but you have to be in the right mindset, okay? So once you're in the place of healing, okay, you've got to allow yourself to heal, and you're working on yourself. You might be wanting to go to the gym more, you might be eating healthier in that sense, or you might want to work on your mindset and do a course that you've always wanted to do, read a book, enjoy time for you. Then when you're in a good place, your mindset has shifted, and then I would say is the time maybe not to actively look, because sometimes it's best to put the intention out and leave that come to you. So with the law of attraction, you really, really need to be specific with what you want. Now, we all know what we don't want. Oh, that was the last one. He did this. He cheated. That was an abuser. He spent all my money, or she did this. She cheated on me. She just was a gold digger. Instead of focusing on that, that's what you don't want. So when you know what you don't want, you know what you do want. So you need to write a list. You need to write a list all the way down with your pen. Exactly. Okay, looks, yeah, you might want them to look a certain way. Okay, that's fine if that's what you want. But qualities of your personality, you need to write each little thing down, okay? Every little thing. And then you want to think of, how does that make you feel? Okay, so you need to think of your emotions of whatever that is. So do you want a partner that is homely and likes to stand at the kitchen with you and chop the vegetables and chat and do things together, have a glass of wine? Do you want somebody sitting on the sofa and having a cuddle? Or do you want somebody social where you eat out all the time? Or do you want more space where, you know, you're going out with the girls quite a lot, they've got the life down the pub with the boys a lot? What do you want? You need to think exact of each little thing. You know, even intimacy, okay? I won't go into too much detail, but like, you know, with drives and things like that, you need to think, what's your drive? What kind of man do you want? Because that can be off sometimes, can't it, with intimacy? So you need to think about intelligence. You know, do you want somebody that you can have and put the world to rights and have an intelligent conversation with? Or do you want somebody really laid back and down to it? You need to think of every little thing. So once you've done your list, it can be like 50 qualities, 100, whatever. You need to be specific. Also, so I need to add in there as well, how do you want them to be if you do have conflict and an argument? Think about that. Do you want them to be calm and able to resolve issues? Are you okay with having arguments, to shout things out and get them out? Some people like a good argument, isn't it? Sometimes it helps to release tension. How do you want that? Do you want them to give you the silent treatment? Do you want to give them... So you need to think of every little thing of good things and bad things in a relationship and how they would handle it. Then,
okay, so I'm going to just interject there because you've said quite a lot there. So just to pull it back, you said make a list. Now I know that there are going to be men. There are going to be men listening, thinking that bloody dreaded list. Here we go again. The list. Women are always doing this thing with the list. And a bit later on, our panel members are going to come in, and we've got Daniel on and we've got Michelle on this evening. What's Tony saying? All these options. Wow, 50 to 100 qualities. See, this is what I'm saying. You see, the men are going to say, because in previous shows, Laura, what's happened is the men that say that women have got this big everlasting list of what they want, and men don't have lists. But actually, you'll find that there are still requirements that men want as well from women. So I mean, Tony, what did Tony say? Can we go back to Tony's comment? He said all these options. Well, 50 to 100 questions. So let's cap it at, say, 50. But remembering what you said, Laura, is that, and I think we picked up on it on last week's show, is that a lot of people don't actually know what they want. They know what they don't want. So sometimes it's good to get a piece of paper, put a line down the middle and write those things that you don't want. Yes. And then you reframe the things you reframe it into the things that you do want. Then you can rip it in half, ball it up, burn it, whatever you want to do with that, the one that you don't want, and then you focus on the things that you do.
Yes.
Just DS says we often expect from our partner to give us things we don't give ourselves, like appreciation, understanding, even positivity. Boom, that is so true. Thank you for that comment, DS. Thank you. And for those of you who are on Facebook, I was going to say Twitter. If you're on Twitter and you're here, well, I don't know how you're here. Anyway, if you're on Facebook, if you're on YouTube, those on MediaNet, put your comments in the comment thread because we will be reading them out tonight. So, Laura, again, as I said, about the list, what would you say to the men? Let's, draw a line in the sand for a minute. What would you say to the men like Tony? Yeah. See, Tony says, yes, that right.
I remember Tony. Yes. Didn't he have something about a bonnet? Yes. Didn't he have a requirement about the bonnet? Yes. Tony Cox, you and your bonnet. So you, Tony, Right, there we are. No dog kisses, and a happily smile. Yes, men are simple creatures. But Tony, if you were thinking of your true ideal woman, say your life partner, your wife, the woman of your dreams, if you dig a little deeper in your thoughts, I think you will have maybe she might be a good cook, take care of you, cuddles or whatever. You will have other things. Maybe you like going to the football together or having space. You will have other things that you would imagine that your dream partner would want to do with you. So you would actually, Michelle, the Bonnet Saga, you would actually have a deeper understanding. So when I said 50 to 100, yeah, that's thinking of every quality. Some people might just be happy with 5 qualities, 2010. It's a personal list for you. And the thing is then is sort of letting go to the universe and trust that that will happen for you, and not keep rechecking on this date and this one didn't do that. Oh no, they're all useless. This one didn't, and get frustrated. It's not about that. It's more about letting go. Is that okay, Yvonne? Does that make sense?
Yes, it absolutely makes sense. I mean, Kelly on Ross says, I simply want a connection. But yes, I do have a small list with that. See, there is, so we do all, and thank you for that, Kelly on. We do have lists, whether we're male or female, but I think there is the perception that women's lists are long and never ending. And I don't believe that to be true.
Yes.
So you were saying that we need to think about what we want. So we've kind of ascertained now that some people struggle
Mm-hmm.
with what they want, but they know for sure what they don't want. So
Yeah.
we've got a list. We write the list. We rip the list in half, and then we start to look at the things that we want in that partner, right?
Yeah.
So once we've done that, what do we do? What do we do next, Laura? So we've got this list of what we do want.
Right. The law of attraction, with the list, you need to fold it up and put it away somewhere for the future. I wouldn't keep bringing it out and doing the checklist, like I said, when you go on a date and that one, like printing it out and literally when you come back from a date going, yeah, no, don't do that. You just need to let it go. So with the law of attraction, it's all about trusting that the universe will deliver and having the mindset of that you've asked for it. So it's basically ask, believe, let go and receive. So I've added let go in there. So it's usually ask, believe and receive, but the key point is letting go. Look, if you were going to order something from Amazon, a diary or something, anything, you know that your Amazon delivery is going to come up the next day with absolute certainty, right? This is what you need to do. You need to just be confident and let it go and trust in the divine timing of it. It could happen next week, next year, 3 years. And when it happens, you will know because you'll meet that person, then you'll go in your underwear drawer at the bottom and you'll find your little thing, your list, and you'll be like, wow, it will happen then. And then you'll check it then and you'll be like, thing. This has actually happened to me in 2 past relationships. But I wasn't careful enough of everything that I put on the list to be absolute what I wanted. But the things I asked for did come in 2 separate relationships. And they came within 6 months of what I'd asked for. So be very, very careful. It's your vision. It's your vision to manifest. So yeah, let go and let God, Janie's saying. So yeah, we say universe, God, Allah, Jesus, whatever your faith is, that's the trust and the letting go.
Fantastic. So the letting go is a really, really key part of it. I think also the intention, because I what was it? It was a few weeks back. I went somewhere and I had the intention. I said, I'm gonna go somewhere and I'm gonna meet somebody and I'm gonna have yes, I went to a barbecue. And before I went, I said, right, when I go to this barbecue, I'm going to meet a man and we're going to have a great conversation. And that's what's going to happen. And I went to this barbecue with that intention, with that energy in mind. Yeah. And
Yeah.
as I said, it was done. I met somebody, we had a fantastic conversation, and that was it. And it was a really, really good conversation. And I thought, you know what, I'm going to do this more often. So as you
Mhm.
were saying, that when you know, you've put your intentions, you've written down what you've wanted with the two relationships, and you've got exactly what you've asked for. But there is that thing: be careful of
Yes,
what you ask for.
you have to be
Absolutely.
careful. And you have to think about the other things, about the conflict and how somebody would handle that, because it is natural in relationships to have disagreements. You know, you're not going to be happy, fluffy, positive people all the time. You are human, and environment and circumstance does happen. So you need to think about how each person, how you are as a person and how they are, and how best to sort of the yin and the yang, you know, rather than two fires or two water energies. So what I mean with the fire is I'm probably quite fiery. So if somebody rise, I'll probably argue back. So I'm probably better with somebody who's more of a water energy, somebody who's calm and talks things through. And if you've got two fires together, you're going to come to war. And then if you've got two waters together, they're going to be so passive, but maybe passive aggressive, that they'll just do the silent, and they won't sort it out. They'll just drift, and it'll fizzle out then. So yeah, it's quite interesting. But the letting go is the hardest part of the law of attraction, is the trusting and the letting go. But that is the key to it.
Mm. Yeah, I would have to agree with you. It is that fundamentally the key. I think we go through so many different things, and we spoke about this a few weeks ago. We go through so many different things, so many uh, different elements of life, challenges that we come across, and then and then sometimes we become hurt. It hurts us.
Mm-hmm.
We carry the pain, and then when we're looking now for another partner, that pain is still there, the residue is still there. And so, well, I don't want you got this attitude, well, I don't want another person like that person, and I
Mm.
don't want another person like that person. Then you end up attracting the same person with a different name.
Yeah, absolutely. You were spot on there. And I myself, I've been through domestic abuse, and it's been really hard. And I'm still single now, but I'm in a place where I'm happy and content where I am at the moment. Now, when you finish with somebody, it is lonely at first, you're hurt, and the pain sits there. And it did sit with me for a long time, Yvonne. And after working on myself, and I had some, I went to Women's Aid where I work in my day job now, and I did the Freedom Program, and that really helped. So it's like, when you've got that pain and that hurt still in you, I think you need to take action and acknowledge that and deal with that, whether that's seeing a therapist, going on a program, even life coaching, whatever, talking about it, telling your story to friends, getting that pain out, because if you keep it in, it's just going to stay, and it's going to fester as bitterness,
Mm,
and it's going to, you basically, you're never going to meet anybody when you feel like that, because that's the energy and the negativity you're putting out. So it's time to turn to yourself, turn your love within, and work on you, and learn to love you before you think of meeting someone else, because you will carry that pain over onto someone else who may be a good person. And then because you're not in the right place, it's transference then, and then you're going to come against conflict. And again, that relationship isn't going to work out either.
absolutely. So once we've established that, I actually like the way that what you've said in terms of, you know, you had to work on you.
Mm-hmm.
This is something that, and I hear a lot of women, and women that might get upset with me now for saying this. I work around women, more women than men, and I
Mm-hmm.
hear a lot of women saying that they've done the work, they've worked on themselves, and they're ready, but yet still, on the flip side, out of the corner of their mouth, they are then saying, but there are no good men, there are this, there are this,
Mm-hmm.
there are, and all these other negative things. So, what would you say to those women in particular? Because I believe there may be some even listening on the show tonight. What would you say to those? Because we have to be conscious of what we're saying, what comes out of this. We've got to be more conscious of what comes out of it.
Yeah, I mean, I've been one of those women, and I think if you are having those thoughts, then there are still unhealed parts of yourself. So there, somebody's hurt you, and that's okay to have those thoughts because they've caused pain and it's been, it's emotionally hurt, it's emotional pain, it's traumatized, maybe has been abuse or something, or financial abuse or something like that, or cheating. All those things are really, really painful. So if you're having any kind of thoughts of bitterness, anger, even if it's towards men in general, towards dating scene, or even thinking about your ex and still having those thoughts, if that still triggers any of those feelings of negativity, anger, bitterness, hurt, feeling of overwhelm that you don't even want to try, and or that kind of passive thing, or there's no point, then you are still not healed. So actually, if you're not healed, you're not quite ready. So you still need to find a path of healing. But it can be done, and you can come up the other side.
You can. I like what DS is saying. The work is never done. It's always ongoing. There's always shadows that need integrating. I think that I love what she said about that. But I also think that there are times where pain or issues are like what I call an onion, and there are layers.
Yes.
And you pull back those layers, but eventually you come to the core. Eventually,
you come to the point where you've come to the point where you have touched on and dealt with everything. Now, the longer the relationship, the deeper the hurt, the betrayal, the abuse may be, it's going to take a long time. I'm 4 years in, past my situation, and still now I get more months, but I know that I am nearly there. And I would say that I do believe that there are good men there. I do believe they're not all men and abusers, and I believe that there is somebody for me. I'm just not ready yet to meet him, but I know maybe in a year or two, I know that I will someday, and he's going to be amazing. So I think sometimes people cause us so much hurt and pain that it is just going to take a long, long time. And that's okay. It's okay for that. But you have to acknowledge that and realize that, isn't it, Yvonne? I think, some relationships do leave damage for years and years, and it's really painful. And some people, some of you listening tonight, you might even have a tear in your eye because you might remember something, and that's okay because that emotion's still there. But you need to sit with it and let the emotion out. Don't keep it in. Write it down. Journal. Journaling's brilliant, because you can see how far you've come. Maybe 6 months from now, in your feelings, and get it out. Journal. Write poetry. Listen to sad songs. Whatever you need to do to get that emotion out, please get it out. Don't keep it in because it'll stay with you for a lifetime if you don't let that out.
Yeah, I hear everything that you said, and I agree with that. That pain, even the acronym for pain is pay attention inward now. It's pay attention inward.
Wow, I like that.
Now. Yeah. So when you are feeling that pain, it's not about anyone else, it's about you. And yes, that person has maybe caused some pain, and we're not going to go down the domestic violence route or conversation today.
Yeah.
But there are other things that hurt us. There are other things that will make us feel less than who we should. But I think that there comes a time when, especially if we're talking about the law of attraction, there comes a time when each individual has to take responsibility for where they are, the choices that have been made. And then once we get over that, let go of that, then we can start moving on.
I've got this on my desk. I found it in Tiger. And it's quite cheesy, but it really rings true. It says, the manager of the universe, and every single one of you, you are the manager of your own life, of your own universe. So you need to make the right decisions and have the right mindset to be able to create the life and the love and the relationships that you want, because you're in charge. Nobody else. You.
Yeah. And that's a key. Those of you who are listening, I want you to get a piece of paper actually, because you've just hit something really, really important. And I want you to write down on that piece of paper, I am in charge of my own life.
Yeah.
I am in charge. Nobody else is in charge.
No.
I am
You.
in charge. I'm not in charge of your life, Laura. You're not in charge of mine. And
No.
and that's vice versa. So that means that any person that you're with, members of the public listening, any person that you're with, they're actually not responsible for you. You are responsible for you,
Mhm.
and you are in control of your life first and foremost.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So Laura, so now we've got to the point, we're talking about the law of attraction. For those who have just joined us, I want to welcome those of you who are on Facebook, those of you who are on YouTube, those of you who are on MediaNet Live TV. I want to welcome you all to the show tonight, and I hope that you're getting something out of this. We have been talking about the law of attraction. We have Laura Hill here she's all the way from Swansea,
Hello.
and who is one of our speakers on the R retreat. And we've been talking about the law of attraction, because at the end of the day, those of us who are single want to attract the right partner, and those of us who are in a relationship or a situationship, we want to also attract the right kind of energy to us so that we can live and have a fulfilled life and relationship. So you were talking about how we attract, and fundamentally, first of all, it starts with us, right? Because that's
Yeah.
what you're saying, Laura. It starts with us, and so if it starts with us, and we've written this list, and now we're concentrating, we're focusing on what we want. So once we've done this, once we've focused on what we want, what is the next step? Because we've let everything go,
Yeah.
or as much as possible, and we are now, you know I'm looking to attract.
Yeah. So, like yourself, you can set an intention. So, if you need to build your confidence up around the person you're trying, a man, a woman, opposite sex, same sex, whatever. Like you said, when you had you were going to the barbecue, you set an intention. I'm going to try and talk to somebody today, and I'm going to have a really good conversation. Or I am going to have a good conversation with somebody. You could do little things like that. I am going to go to Asda, Sainsbury's today, and I'm just going to smile at a man or a woman and see if they respond back. I am going to, I feel inspired. Maybe I feel confident enough to go on a dating site. So, the universe will deliver some inspired action for you to take. You'll get some kind of feeling in your gut. I call it the inner compass, your intuition. It will tell you what to do. When you thought that about the barbecue, Yvonne, where did that come from? Did you just get a thought, that's what I'm going to do? Did you have a gut feeling of something?
Yeah, it was a feeling. I was just like, because I'm a coach, and I coach people in relationships, right?
Mhm.
So my thing is, I am a single person, and I just thought, you know what, I'm being radical about where I am in my life,
Mhm.
because everything that I've achieved has come from being radical about the changes that I've wanted to see in my life. And so now I've done the work, and now I'm ready to pursue a relationship. um I just felt right. So what do I have to do to make this happen? And I'm all about intention. I'm all about putting the work in, as I put the sweat in, and
Mhm.
you'll see the results. And so I just thought to myself, right, I've said it over the years, well, that no one, men just want to stand at the side, they don't want to talk to you, and I realized part of that is because women stand in groups, and it's not
Yes.
always comfortable for a man to
Yeah.
approach you. But I just made a decision. This is what I'm going to do. I'm going to dress up nice. I'm going to look the part. I'm going to go and have a really good time. And I'm going to talk to a nice young man. And that's exactly what happened.
Yeah. So that's brilliant. And how did you feel after that then? Did you feel like really confident after, like, yes, I did it? Did you chuffed?
Yeah, I clicked my heels. I was a bit like Dorothy with the
Yeah.
red shoes. Kicking my heels. I was
No.
like,
Yeah.
because as much as, and I want to say this to people because perception is everything. And those of you who are watching, you may look at somebody like me and think, well, you've got so much confidence, which is true. But what you don't know about me is that I'm quite an introvert. So, as much as I'm here and I can stand on the stage and I can speak to thousands of people and absolutely feel no way, on a one-on-one, it's an actual different story. I'm quite introverted. I quite like my own company. I like to do my own thing. I don't necessarily like to be the life and soul and the center of attention. So sometimes it can be quite hard for
Yes.
somebody, that's perceived like me to be out there. And you'd think, oh, I'll just go and talk to anybody. It doesn't work that way. It really
Yeah.
doesn't. And
It's
so,
it's
go
Yeah,
on.
sorry. I was just going to say, I'm a bit like you. When I was younger, I was very extroverted, but as I've got older, I do like my own company more. And I am, if I'm to like smile at a man or have a conversation, I do feel nervous and have butterflies. So I think that's quite normal. And if you've been single for a while as well, that's normal. But if you get the little gut feeling, the vibe to do something, to talk to somebody, to smile at somebody, just do it and see what happens. Maybe it isn't going to be that your next husband or wife. It's just going to give you a little boost if you try something. But don't try too hard, like, I'm going to make this happen, because you are not going to make it happen. It's going to come to you. You can't force anything at all. And if you are forcing it, it probably won't work out. So you've got to let it go. But if you have the guidance, the intuition, your inner compass telling you to try something, then try it. You might think, oh, tonight I'm going to set up a dating profile, and if that works, if that's what you want to do, that's your inspired, then do it. Or you might just decide to do it naturally, like if you decide to go for a drink with your friend. But what you're saying, Yvonne, about when women are in packs, men do get nervous unless they're on like a stag night and there's loads of them, then they'll all come over together. But if there's just a few guys and there's like 6 to 8 women or something, they do feel nervous. And I always find if I've gone out and I'm with maybe 1 or 2 other friends, guys will come and have a chat. But if you're out in a big gang, they want. So maybe it might be an idea, if you've got some single friends and the men can do the same, is maybe start going out like just a couple of you, and then you're kind of giving those open signals then for, give eye contact, smile, be a little bit open. Don't be so closed off, because we can do that as well. We can shun people quite a lot.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And go to the bathroom by yourself. That's a
Yeah.
tip that one of the men, I'm not sure who it was that said it over the recent weeks. When you're going to the bathroom, ladies, go by yourself.
There we are.
Give them
Top
the
tip.
opportunity. So we've got a question here from Tracy Young. It says, so would you say we need to make a list for ourselves first before we make a list for our can't get the word out, ideal partner?
Ooh, that's an interesting question.
Really juicy
Yes,
question.
I think so, Tracy Young, because when you've had a breakup, like you're saying, you have to heal. So maybe write a list of, maybe if you're feeling those feelings, write them down. And then maybe have a think about, what do you want to do? What's something when you've been in a relationship that you've never had time for? Maybe you wanted to learn something, do a course, read a certain book. Do those kind of lists. Work on what's everything you've really wanted to do but never done for you. It could be movies, anything. Write that down. Achieve all those little things, and then when you've done that, you're gonna feel like you're rocking it, like you've got loads of confidence, and then you're gonna be ready to make your list for your ideal partner. Definitely work on you first. Always put yourself first when you're single. Work on you, heal, love yourself first. Learn to love you. Give yourself the love and affection and self-care that you would give your best friend after they've broken up. Nurture you.
Yeah, I like that. Nurture you. I
You.
like that.
Yeah, that could be like
Because
nurture you.
it's not just about, people think, oh, self-care is, oh, I'm going to go to a spa and blah blah blah, but actually it's a
No.
lot deeper than that. It is about the nurture, and some of us are natural nurturers. want everybody to feel good. We want everyone to feel loved. We want everyone to feel cared, and we go out of our way to make people feel good about themselves. But what we need to actually do is turn that around back on ourselves and give
Mm.
ourselves what we need. And
Uh,
sometimes that can be so difficult. It can, because again, it's about value, isn't it? And how you value you, and sometimes it seems easier to value the things outside of us rather
mhm.
than valuing the things that are us. So it is really about turning that mirror around, that it's not about somebody else, it's actually about you as the individual. Lolly Bailey has said, I'm scared of eye contact. And
Oh,
because she
okay.
was saying she's the same as me, not good with one to one or meeting new people when it's her on her own, and she doesn't like the eye contact. So what advice could you give? I suppose if you don't like eye contact, gosh,
If you don't like eye contact, that is absolutely okay. Don't beat yourself about that. But you might find your eye will wander to somebody who you find attractive. And you might find they may actually catch your eye, and that's a nice moment. Or they might catch your eye and you might look away. But gentlemen, men do actually like that in a woman, because we had a chat the other week on the After Dark show, wasn't it? Saying about submissive and femininity. So
yeah,
some men would find that really attractive, that you may have looked and then you like scurried and looked away. They might find that really nice, and you could catch your eye at that little split second. So you don't have to consciously go around trying to make, with googly eyes looking at everybody. Just yeah, don't force anything. If you see somebody that's a bit of eye candy, have a little look and then look away. That's fine. Don't worry about it. Don't think too heavily about that, and don't worry. It's okay.
yeah. I think
Okay.
it's okay if you are caught sizing a man up, if you get what I mean. And I
Yeah.
don't mean sizing as in sizing. I mean,
Yvonne.
yeah,
Don't do the
I
hand
don't
actions either. That's even worse.
sizing, not kind of sizing, but it's sizing. You're looking at him, and if you're looking at him and you're kind of sizing him up and like looking and think, oh, he's nice, and then as he looks, kind of slow your look away, slow it down a little bit, so he actually catches you looking at him and looking away. So he kind of sees, oh, she might be quite shy, or
Yeah.
maybe she's interested, and he might come over. That little flirtatious kind of
Yeah.
thing that we
Butterflies
can
in their
do as
tummy.
women when we want to attract men. Michelle was saying, I like that. Give yourself the care you would give your best friend.
Hmm.
Fire emoji, fire emoji, fire
Yeah. It's
emoji.
how, isn't it? Practice on someone you don't fancy, innit? That's brilliant.
I
Don't
was
do
going
what
to say
I.
that's a very good idea, actually.
I'll tell you a funny tale. Years ago, I was a teenager and there was a really hot guy walking past, and I actually looked at him and I was so absorbed in it, I actually walked into a lamppost. In my head. So don't do that. I just like went full on bosh.
You don't want to do that.
I was
Listen,
about 15.
you don't want to do that. Yeah, you don't want to do that. Tony Cox is saying flirting is a natural thing for most women. I think flirting is a natural thing for human beings.
Yeah, it's
You know,
lovely. It's good
that's how
fun.
we're made.
It's nice. Makes us feel good. Raises our vibration. It brings good energy.
Absolutely. Tracy's saying you can size them up in a snapshot if you don't want to get caught. But the point of the sizing them up is to get, not so much get caught, but let them see you moving away so they can say, oh, okay,
Yeah. They'll probably smile at you then.
yeah.
Isn't
And
it?
then you
They love it, don't they?
they
And
do.
we love it too secretly.
Tracy says she always starts with the shoes. Hmm.
Oh yes.
If you start with the shoes, and if you don't like the shoes, then
Mhm.
what? So listen.
Yeah.
So tonight we're talking about the law of attraction. We're talking about how we attract the person that we want to be with. If we see somebody out, how do we attract that person? How do we pull them into our world? How do we talk to them? Because some of us are very, very shy. So how do we do that? Let's say, for instance, we're at the R retreat and we see somebody that, we think, oh, he's a bit of all right. And, what do you do? How do you attract him? And we've already ascertained a little smile, a little glance.
Well, in university, I did psychology, and we did a bit of body language in that, and that was really interesting. And there's certain things that men do and women do, which the other person finds it when they like somebody. So, for example, women, we will show our wrists. Weirdly, we will lay our wrist bare, and it shows open body contact. We may play with our hair, so you could play with your hair slightly. And then guys generally will point to their crotch. So they will, if they like you, they will have 1 foot away from you and 1 foot pointing towards you. And they'll generally might have their thumbs in their belt pointing down to their crotch. So there's things that each sex does that you can actually see if somebody's showing open body language and attraction or not. So pay attention to those signs. And girls are like, we'll often maybe bite our lip or lick our lips. And if a guy is looking at your lips, or even a man, if a woman is looking at your lips, looking from your eyes down to your lips, up and down, that means they want to kiss you, or you want to, it means they want to kiss. It's evolution.
Yes. I hope you guys are writing down these little signs here.
Yeah. So subtly
body language.
Hair,
factual stuff. It is.
This is psychology. This is true. You can look it up.
It's true. It's factual stuff. This is psychology. But Tony Cox has put down peacocking.
I love Tony Cox.
I just want to kind of address that, because peacocking is I am here, and everybody's got to see peacock. Everybody, because what it does is it's the name. It's actually the name. And what do peacocks do? They gravel out and then they open up their feathers for everyone to see the glory. So peacocking can actually go against you, because people can look at you and think, God, what a prat.
Yeah. I think it can be overdone.
And sometimes it can just come over as a bit too much.
Yeah. And if you're in a pub or something, you can always spot the people peacocking. You can just tell by their stance, women and men, you can just tell. So maybe if you're not after somebody who really loves themselves that much, then maybe stay away from the peacocks.
Yeah. I think so.
Yes. So. I love Tony Cox, by the way. He's awesome. His little comments. It's so funny.
You hear that, Tony? Laura loves you.
Oh, I love you.
Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. Listen, we are coming up to the top of the hour and we are talking about the law of attraction. And, just to go into some background, where did this come from, the law of attraction? Do you know, Laura?
Well, the main person who brought it into the main world arena was Rhonda Byrne. She wrote the book The Secret, and there's a movie on Netflix called The Secret. And she did some in-depth studies of all the old theological texts and historical books, and she brought everything together. I think even in the Bible, there's something in Matthew, I'm not sure what number, but it says something like ask and it is given, or something like that. So even in Christianity, something as well. So we've got a long message of Kieran here. But if you're on Netflix, you can go on and look for the movie The Secret. It starts off a little bit strange. It's like a medieval thing, but it really explains it very simply. Psychologists are on there, theologists, philosophers, and it really explains it in simple terms. But it's just from multiple cultures, societies, and it's an ancient universal law which has gone back thousands of years.
Okay, thank you for that. Thank you for just giving us some insight into where the law of attraction.
Oh, there we are. Matthew 11:24 from New Set.
Because the law of attraction is biblically based. It's based on the Bible. It is. But we have a rather long question for you, Laura. We're going to bring that up. If we can pull the screen down from my side, no, that one. Yep. No. That, yeah, lovely. Okay. So this is Kieran Richards. Thank you for your message. Okay, so it says internal validation often compromised by the internal critical. Working with self comparison can often be the antidote. Could I ask Laura her thoughts on the pressure we place on ourselves to inherit the principles of positive psychology and how, in fact, this can be the causation of the internal critic, low self esteem, and self worth as we feel we are not meeting positive mindsets, etc. The notion of being positive to attract change can often be an anxiety trigger which avoids being our
Self
true
evident.
self. Maybe I think that is what
Yeah.
it says.
Yeah, thank you, Kieran. I know Kieran. So I think like this, Kieran. So when you start, if people start practicing the law of attraction, you will start to notice that you are probably thinking negatively about 95% of the time. And that will annoy you a little bit when you first start because you realize these self-sabotaging thoughts and criticisms that we do all the time. I'm not good enough. I'm too fat. I'm ugly. Why did I say that? Or I shouldn't have done that. These thoughts constantly bounce around like a washing machine in our brain. We don't ask for these thoughts to be there. They just come. So I think when you start to practice positive psychology and the law of attraction is to allow yourself to get used to it because it can cause a little bit of anxiety because you're thinking, oh no, I'm thinking another negative thought again. I need to stop that and I need to change it. And it's putting pressure on yourself, but you need to just slow it down and just, if you're just starting this, realize that you're on a new journey and it's a new way of living because the law of attraction is not something you can just do once and then all your manifestations and everything you desire is going to come to you overnight or next week. You've got to put in that effort every day. So you've got to make conscious decisions to start changing your mindset. But you're not going to go from these negative thoughts like a washing machine into a positive person. Even I'm a positive person, but I don't wake up every day positive and happy. It takes a lot of work. You've got to think of something each day that you're grateful for. So to the viewers, I would advise when you wake up in the morning, you may want to write or say thank you for another day on this earth. So many, think so many people, it is their last day on earth, they don't get the chance. Think like that, how lucky we are. I've got a roof over my head, I've got food in my tummy in my fridge, I've got a job, or I've got good friends. And just start writing. Maybe in the morning you can write maybe 3 to 5 things that you're grateful for, or maybe even just one. It's up to you. And start your day right. Meditation, a lot of people use that. I do it sometimes, but not every day. That takes practice to do. It's calming your mind. And try and reduce the amount of time you spend either around negative people or absorbing negative things. So for example, the news, okay? At the moment, for almost 2 years, we have had COVID, death, cases, masks, injections. In fact, that's all we've had. So when we watch the news, after watching that, are we going to feel good after watching that? Or are we going to feel fearful and quite sad and hopeless and, oh, this world is terrible? Or we see some war or something that's gone on. It's really sad. It is really sad. But it's like, if we're absorbing that, we're absorbing this negative energy. So try and reduce that. You might have a friend or a family member who is quite negative a lot of the time, and you still love them, but it's okay to create boundaries and reduce the amount of time that you're with them and pull back a bit. So reduce your time with negative surroundings or maybe negative music, whatever, newspapers, media. Try and be grateful for something each day and try and think of something positive. Maybe I listen to on YouTube, Yvonne, I listen to, it's a bit cheesy. It's called Raise Your Vibration Music. Okay. And it's set at a certain hertz, which triggers parts of our brain. So it's done, it's been done under MRI scan. They've done tests. So it triggers parts of the brain, which help make people release serotonin and dopamine and everything. So when you're doing it, don't be too harsh on yourself and just realize it's a journey, not a destination.
Absolutely. Love that. Love that. Love that. Love that. We've got If you ask, believe, you shall receive. These are just comments that we've got
Yeah,
in the.
love it.
I mean, I just love what you've just said. And distancing yourself from negativity. That is so important. And that could be your best friend. Unfortunately,
Yeah.
sometimes you'd have to run away. Run. Okay. Um, DS says yes. Start with acknowledgement and acceptance. There is an awakening. I always think the awakening comes first, because the awakening is the point where you are, where you say, I have to do something different. There's a shift in you. And sometimes, you could be going along your life every day, and then all of a sudden you hear one thing or something comes back to your memory, and it's you have this awakening, and it's like everything has changed. I know
Mm-hmm.
for me, that's when I started my journey in 2012 of self-development. I had an awakening. And
Mm-hmm.
and from there it has just grown. And then that's where the acceptance of self and the acknowledgement of self comes in. And then after that, after you start doing that, you start to align with the language that
Yes.
you have come into contact with. You start to realize, actually, this is who I actually am, and you align with that, and then you affirm that by the words that you say constantly. And that's why we use affirmations the way that
Yes.
we do. And they're a good start and they're a good finisher, if you get what I mean,
Yeah.
because affirmations will take you all the way through.
Yeah.
So thank you for that, and thank you, Kieran, for that question. He says, thank you for that reply, Laura. Sorry for the lengthy question. Great show. Very insightful. Thank you. Thank you for being here, Kieran. And thank you for that question, because that was quite an in-depth question.
Yeah.
And this is what we love on this show. So feel no way. If you've got any more questions, just put it on the chat and we will
Yeah.
do our best to answer that question. Right, we come to the top of the hour. So we're going to take a quick commercial break. And after the break, we're going to bring in our panel, and we're going to still continue with the law of attraction as our talking point tonight. So we'll be back right after this. Welcome to the R Retreat, located at Northamptonshire's Whittlebury Hall complex, a 4-star hotel providing a luxury spa and golfing experience with the finest food and sports facilities. Absolutely everything that you could ask for to relax and recharge. But not only that, we have provided the best relationship and well-being speaker experts to empower you, to give you tools, tips and strategies of how to develop and grow your own relationships with self and with others. So come and recharge, re-energize, realign and rebuild. Book your place today at the R Retreat, Whittlebury Hall, Northamptonshire. This is the time for you and you alone to give back to you. And we're back. So thank you. We're back after the commercial break, and we're going to bring in the panel members now. Just to remind you that, the R Retreat is there. That if you do want and are interested in attending the R Retreat, please contact www.yvonnemichelle.com, and you will see on the link. You'll see that the our retreat is there, and you just click on the link. All the information is there. So let's bring in our panel members, shall we? Who have we got? Hi, Daniel. How are you doing?
Hey, Yvonne. I'm very well, thank you. How are
Good.
you?
I'm very well, thank you.
Hey,
Good
Laura.
Hello, Daniel.
And who else have we got in tonight? Hello, Michelle.
Good evening, everybody.
Good to see you.
Hello.
Nice to see you all as well. And good evening to all the listeners and viewers and the silent ones, especially.
Yes, yes, thank you. So, for those of you who are just logging in, those of you who are on Facebook, those of you on MediaNet, those of you who are on YouTube, I want to welcome you to the After Dark show this evening, and we are talking all things about the law of attraction. And so, Daniel and Michelle, you've been listening to the show so far. Do you have any questions for our Laura tonight, based on what we've been discussing so far?
Yes, definitely. Laura, first of all, thank you. It's been very insightful, and it's also reiterated and consolidated some of the things that we heard from John Kenny last week as well, and also from Daniel. So that's really great. So we should be getting the message by now. I think that's a really good point. One question that I have about the list. When you have a list, sometimes you need to be intentional with your list and you need to be very specific. I really agree with that point. But do you feel that before you put that document away, before you put your list away, that it should be a bit of a working document?
I think that you need to work on it until you're absolutely sure that's what you want. Because as I said before, I've had 2 relationships where I forgot some bits, and that you've got to be really careful what you ask for. So you need to have it at a point that you're really happy with it. And then a bit of feedback on. I don't know if anybody can hear that.
Yeah, don't worry, the technical crew are on it. Just carry on.
Thank you. Yeah. So yeah, you need to be at a level where you're really comfortable with your list before you fold it up and put it away. I think, and you can look over it a few times, but then once you're happy with it, then let it go. Yeah.
Thank you.
That's okay.
Thanks for the question.
Dan the man, if you've got any questions.
Yeah. Mainly about, you briefly touched on gratitude. So I wanted to know, in what role does gratitude play in the role of attraction? How would you perceive gratitude in the law of attraction?
I think for me, and for the general teachings of law of attraction, the attitude of gratitude is one of the key elements to be able for you to feel in a positive frame of mind. So it helps you to get there. So if you're in a bad mood and something's happened at work, maybe then try and think of all the things that you're grateful for, or a few things, write them down, and then you're like consciously trying to switch your mindset from the negative onto the positive. So it's something that you have to practice really, I would say daily, really, to be able to get the most of it. And then when you are in a more positive mindset, you're aligning as Yvonne, aligning with your true inner self. And it's at that moment when you're going to be open to receive, and open to think about what you want to ask for in order to receive. So you're going to get to that point of alignment, and then you're going to be in a better frame of mind, because there's no point doing affirmations or doing lists if you're in a really negative frame of mind. You have to get yourself into the better mood, into that positive mindset. Does that make sense? And then go forward and then ask for, work on your list, Michelle, that for the guy you want to manifest, and then let it go. But it's no good writing lists or writing affirmations. I am so happy and grateful that I'm rich and I have the best job and everything. If you're like in a bad mood, you're like, I am so happy and grateful. If you're not there, it's not going to work. It's a process to get you there. It's a vital element. Does that answer your question?
So yes. I wanted also to ask you, so if, for example, you're in a relationship, so you're married and you want to improve that relationship, so you're going to have to find some grateful things to say about your partner. But let's say you've got down this path where you can't find anything grateful I know. I've,
Yeah.
you know, or you
No,
can't find
is
any kind of appreciation about your partner. I know this has happened with people. So what would you say to people like that? Is, you know, I can't find anything grateful about him or her. You know, how do I start with this?
right. It is hard because especially when you're married and you live with someone and they might leave their dirty pants, or she's left a wet towel, or she hasn't washed the dishes, or, you know, there's all those niggly little bits that we wind each other up. So it is hard. But maybe think back to when you first met, or if you've got a wedding album, look at your wedding album or the photos of when you first got together, and just remember how that felt and how magical. Maybe the first time that you were intimate, when you met each other, your first kiss, go back to those happy memories. And maybe when you've stopped arguing or feeling negative with one another, you can have a little bedside chat about when you first met, and that might spark those feelings. But it is hard when you're in a relationship because you've got to keep putting fuel in the fire to keep things happy and passionate and going well. And so often that we don't, especially when we have children, when children come along, as wonderful and beautiful as they are, you know, that attention goes on the child, and, you know, we do drift as people, and we're also tired all the time. So it's just about, you've got to pick out the memories from the past then to be able to enjoy the present a bit more.
Okay.
And as well, I want to add to that, when they have annoyed you, try to think of what you would really like your relationship to be. So you could do a list when you're feeling in a happier mood. Once you've listened to some great music, then you've got yourself more positive, your favorite music from years ago, whatever. When you've got yourself in a more positive frame, you can actually write a list of how you can put it in the present tense. So I am so happy and grateful that my wife is happy now, and she's in a good mood, and we're going somewhere nice on a nice date with babysitter. So try and think of how you would like the relationship to be again, and try and put the focus there, not on what they're annoying, you know, they're so annoying.
Yeah.
Remember why you
Actually,
love them in the first place.
yeah, I saw what was just written there as well, and I think the lady
I
that
don't
wrote
miss that.
that, I think Jamie B. Yeah, gratitude for the smallest things will lead to bigger manifestations. I think that's really nice
Yeah.
too.
That's big.
That's powerful.
As small as they say, gratitude for the smallest things lead to bigger manifestations. That's absolutely a massive statement, which is so true. The gratitude for the smallest things, and even, you know, as Laura was talking about, you know, going back in your memory bank and remembering those good things that you've experienced in your relationship. If the relationship is worth fighting for, then you will
Yes.
do that. You will look and think and remember those good times, the reason why you was attracted to that person in the first place. But if you cannot do that for whatever reason, then I would say, you know, because I'm all about saving relationships and building healthy relationships. But if the relationship is not healthy and you cannot find something, then I would say take your exit. Because if you cannot be happy in yourself, you cannot expect the person outside of you to make you happy. You have to be happy for yourself. So that's what I would say. And that's just what Yvonne Michelle would say. You might not agree with me, but you know, you've got to know when it's time to say ciao ciao. You know,
I
go Laura, yeah.
Sorry, Yvonne, I'm completely on the same page as you. I mean, if you're at the point where your energy is so depleted that every day is so hard and you're both so miserable, and it's been going on months or years, and might be an idea for you both to have the chat. And as hard and as sad and as horrible as that is, sometimes it is the best thing to part ways. But like, you know, Yvonne said, if you can keep fighting and find some spark and find something you still love and appreciate and get that connection back at any point, then fight for it. But if it really, you've tried all that, and then it is time probably maybe being told that is a different path for you.
Yeah.
And I've been there. I'm sure the single women and men have.
I think anyone who's divorced
Yeah.
would have been there.
Divorce
you know,
club.
and yeah, so yeah, maybe that's what I should have called the group divorce club, but never mind. But I think we have to be at a place where, you know, we know we're adults, we're grown, and we can work on this thing, and we can work and work, and both have had to work together to make it work. But if at the end of the day you come to a stalemate, and I would say get counselling before you throw the towel in, get some counselling. But if you get to that place, then don't be afraid to let it go, because we've been talking about that, and we've got Daniel as our let it go expert here anyway. And sometimes you might just have to find yourself in that place where you let it go so that you can attract what is for you.
Actually, I've just seen as well what the Facebook user wrote, saying lack of communication plays a big part. Listening to friends instead of talking to each other. Stop chatting to your mates. I think sometimes when you talk to your friends, they, you know, you may be in a bad place and say negative things about your partner. Let's say, for example, or someone may say negative things about your partner, and then your friends or the people around you will just add fuel to the fire. Going in a direction which isn't love, which is more disconnection, and rather than, you know, so sometimes it's really good to get the opinion of, I think, balanced people who really understand this as well. What do you think, Laura, about that?
Absolutely, Daniel, you're spot on, because even I've done this with friends, and friends have done it with me. Okay, so they might have a little moan about their husbands or boyfriends, and as a friend, we want to protect our beautiful friends, and the same with the guys in the pub. You know, you're too good for her, don't let her treat you like that. And we're the same with the girls. We want to protect our friend, and we don't want them to hurt. And same with you, we don't want to see our nearest and dearest get hurt by someone when they are telling us about their partner. We're feeling hurt for them, so we will say, "Oh, maybe it's time to call it a day," or "You can do so much better." It's a natural thing to do, but it comes from a place of love. So seek help, like Yvonne said. Maybe there's a relationship marriage counsellor. I think there's Relate. I think there used to be. I don't know if it still exists, but that's got quite good reputation. Just see if you can, you know, take it to a neutral person who hasn't got emotional connections to either one of you, that is outside of the box of your relationship, and they can have a really unbiased and non-judgmental view of your relationship. I think that's the best.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Nelson says you both have to be willing to work on yourselves to be better within before you can share. I've just lost that. Before you
With
share
each other.
with each other. Yeah, absolutely.
Spot on.
Facebook user says, I think we say more negative things about our partners to our friends and than positive. So we're already portrayed them in a negative light, which is why friends tell you to leave. Why don't we talk about the good stuff?
Interesting.
We're talking about the law of attraction here. Why don't we talk about the good stuff? Because it's the good stuff that we want to attract, isn't it?
We should. Yeah, absolutely. You know, if we're trying to practice that positive thinking and law of attraction, then we do. But especially with, I think people, as humans in general, we often don't like to talk about the positive because we feel that we're boasting. So we don't always talk about the positive about ourselves too much, because people think, look at her, look at him, who do they think they are? And if we're talking about a husbands or wives, for example, a group of men down the pub, for example, at a football game, I'm doing stereotypical things now, and I do apologise, right? But say the guys together on a night out, you're not going to say, oh, my wife's so amazing, she ironed my shirt, she did this, you know, she cooked a beautiful meal. We're not going to probably get made fun of by the guys. And the same with the girls. If we're saying our man's so amazing, he's bringing us flowers all the time, the girls going to be like, oh, what does he want? So, you know, we always find the negative in everything. I think we just need to celebrate people more, and we need to start being more positive. And to hell with what everybody thinks. If you've got a good one, you celebrate them. That's what I say. Cheers. My water.
Absolutely. I think that statement. I think I'm not sure who did I think we say more negative things. It might be Lolly Bailey. I'm not sure because it's got Facebook user on it. But I do think it's such a powerful statement, and I think it's a challenge. And it's a challenge for us all, not just in the relationships of male and female, but relationships in general. Because you see, what happens a lot of the time is that people, excuse my French, people will piss you off. They will. Sorry if I've offended anybody, but I just want to get the point across. Yeah, it is Lolly Bailey. I want to get the point across that sometimes we are in these relationships, and it doesn't necessarily have to be a love relationship, as in a male couple, you know, where you're having a romantic relationship, but it can be just a relationship, and the expectation of that relationship is not being met. And then you start to see all the negative things, and that's what we focus on. And if what you focus on is what you're going to bring to you, isn't it? That's isn't it where energy goes? That's where it, you know, that's
where
what
focus
flows.
goes, energy goes. Yeah, absolutely.
So, you know, that is a very, very powerful statement that was made then. I appreciate Lolly Bailey for making that statement, and that is a challenge to every single one of us on this show tonight, whether you're hearing us, whether you're seeing us, or whether you are in the panel, wherever you are. It is to challenge us tonight to think about the things that come out of our mouth when we are talking about the people that are close to us, that we love, that we, you know, or think about what we're saying if we want to attract that positive energy to ourselves. Mrs. Mib 23, 22 even, says also, I found that communication is key, being open to each other, needs and wants, being open to hear and listen. And I'm going to add, even when you don't like what's being said, on the back of that.
Yes.
I'm going to add that.
Powerful, right? Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah. So, we got another comment here from Nevada Cato. It says, if you can just take off the screen for me, that's it. If you just bring it down for me a bit more, that's it. My kid's mother and I had conversation about the reason for the split up. I haven't read all of it, but it sounds juicy already. She was going through
juicy,
stuff,
it is.
Medication was causing her to do things that she had no control over. After dating, things got worse. Since she came off the medication, she became a better person. It took 18 years for her to have this conversation. We hugged. I forgave her. We've always been close, but even closer now. Oh, that's lovely.
Oh,
that's lovely. Thank you for sharing.
It took 18 years all that time. Yeah.
It's never too late.
Yes.
It's never too late to turn things around. Never too late. Thank you for that. Thank you for sharing that, Nevada. I think that's a really powerful thing to also recognize. I don't know what you would say to that, Laura, but to recognize that sometimes we are going through things. Sometimes we are in an emotional state, and an understanding is needed. I know that we've in past had conversations about the menopause and how it can affect and change a woman's behavior. And so, you know, as we are the seniors, should I put it, we have to be mindful, I think, of our counterparts' behavior. But we are talking about the law of attraction. And so I want to just have a look at what Kieran Richard has got something else to say. Right, so, okay, yes. Please raise that up a little bit more for me. Thank you very much. Right, so one of the panel members want to read it out, because I don't need to read out everything. You guys can read out. Do you want to do that for us, Daniel?
Yeah, sure.
Go on, Dan.
I think when we feel vulnerable as social creatures, we tend to want to secure our social network to feel a sense of security and connectedness to feel safe. Therefore, we take on negative parts of the relationship to our friends and family, etc., to help heal. They are on our side. So to help feel they are on our side, to provide the comfort of social security, social safety.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna answer. Yeah, that's really spot on, Kieran. So I think what Kieran's saying there, I'm just gonna simplify it, if that's all right, Kieran. So basically, when we're feeling vulnerable in our relationships and we're upset and we're hurt and we're in pain, we seek solace in our friends and family because we just want somebody to say and acknowledge, yeah, that person did treat you wrong, and you want a hug or whatever. You want reassurance that what you're thinking is, yeah, they did do me wrong. And you want to tell somebody, and that's okay to tell somebody. And if things are going wrong, you're going to want to naturally reach out to your nearest and dearest to have some validation that what has happened is wrong, to help you. But at the same time, remember what Yvonne said about healthy relationships. If it's at the point of that, you need to move that way. But if there's a possibility of saving it, then come back to relationship and communicate with each other. But we do offload. Offloading is completely normal, I would say. Does everybody agree? Michelle, I'm going to pick on you. Do you agree with that? Offloading to somebody is completely normal, isn't it?
Yeah, it can be, but I do think that we pick the people that we're going to offload on because we kind of know what they're going to say. You're not going to go and offload on, your sister or your cousin that is a complete nightmare, is going to take the opportunity to say, yeah, I'm happy about your sadness, because they're miserable and misery loves company. So we choose who we want to comfort us and validate what we're feeling. And so then we can say to ourselves, yes, I knew that was right. Yes, I'm sure that this is the case about my partner, and keep it in the negative, sadly. But I think as we become more experienced and we reflect more on past relationships, we learn not to do that so much, and to keep a level of to honor the relationship by keeping a lot of it private and trying to be a bit more positive. I think we do that.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think for a successful relationship, we do need to hold our cards a little bit closer sometimes, because people then, like in my past experience in my relationships, like with my sister, for example, I don't know if she's still watching because she got the baby, but I would offload to her all the time, and then she would be trying to say, that's unhealthy, come out of this relation, you don't have to do. And then she would feel frustrated because then the next thing was all lovey-dovey again, and then she would get annoyed, and then our relationship then. So if there is that, and it is that level, definitely seek relationship counselling, I would say, when it gets that bad, that point.
Absolutely. I have to agree with Tracy Young. Seek a therapist to offload on. If you cannot sort things out with your partner, I've learned from experience that it's not good to offload to people who are too close to us. I absolutely agree with that, Tracy. And that's why you've got people like myself.
I think the sound has gone again. Sorry. The sound. She can't hear us. The sound.
No.
Can't hear. No. We'll get.
We can't hear.
No. It's great when technology goes crazy, isn't it? It's all great when it works. Yeah.
Maybe the batteries run out of her mic or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe the batteries.
Keep talking. Wait to keep talking.
Well, can I say something to you, Laura and Daniel? Going back to the list, because a lot of people that watch this program are singletons, hopefully not to be singletons for too much longer. When it comes to the list of what you want and you desire, to me, it's important that we remember, rather than once we're happy with our list and we put it down, that we don't sort of sit there checking off the list.
Yeah, absolutely. I think we've all be back on this one.
We give what it is we actually want. So, for example, if you really enjoy compliments, are you giving compliments? You know,
Oh,
those
that's
kinds of
interesting.
things. Yeah.
Yes, you've got
So
to practice what you preach.
exactly, because otherwise the
So
person might be sitting there thinking, oh, I'm really trying with this person and I'm not getting anything back. So I think it's important to be prepared to open our vulnerabilities and give what we say we want.
yes, that is really, really powerful. Thank you for that. That's something that I hadn't thought of, but it's spot on, isn't it? Because, it's like a little bit of karma, I suppose. I think there's an echo, but we'll carry on talking anyway. Go on with the show. So it's what we put out into the world, like law of attraction, will come back to us. So if we want someone who's this, and this, compliments, affection, then we need to, when we do meet that person, we need to give some of that to them too. We can't expect for them to be this perfect person and us to sit back and receive and not try and not do anything. Relationship does take two of you to want to make it work. So I think that's a really valid point there. And for a relationship to work, two people have to be contributing, open communication, openness and vulnerability. Of course, when you first meet somebody, I wouldn't advise on spilling your life story straight away, because that can be that, I've done it in the past, but that can be used against you then, before you know somebody, and vice versa, where you don't actually really know them. It's in the first few days, and then you've left yourself really open and vulnerable. So wait until you can trust somebody before showing them your openness and vulnerability. Then lay yourself bare, and the person will do the same to you. Then you've got to reciprocate. You can't just expect them to do and be everything. It's give and take, and two together to make a relationship work. Are you back, Yvonne?
I am back. Slight technical glitch there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Listen, guys. If you don't know
missed
this
you.
already, but this is a live show, okay? So
Yeah, we're live.
this is live, yeah. So I'm back. So I missed a little bit of the conversation, but that's fine. I know you guys were. I can see people say, "Keep talking, guys. Keep talking." So finish off what you were saying, Laura, and then we can go to Kieran's got a comment as well.
I think we did say it, is that, like, in a relationship it takes two to tango. You can't expect your list for this perfect person to come and you not be a good person too. You have to reciprocate, and it's like the karma thing, isn't it? You put out, you get back. So the two of you to make it work. So I think we cleared that up. I think, Michelle, did we do all right with that?
I think
On to Kieran. Go on, sorry.
Okay. I was just going to say, I do think that sometimes we don't notice what we give out many times because our unconscious behaviors are so subtle and the beliefs and the programs that we carry are very deep. We don't always notice that the energy we give out may be contrary to the energy that we expect, or the way we expect to be treated. And it's very subtle sometimes. So just bringing awareness into how we really are, I think, helps as well, because then we understand how we really are at the deepest possible level, why that will attract certain people and situations into our life. So
that's a good comment. That's a really good comment, because yes, you could be subconsciously attracting someone who you really don't want. That's really good. Thank you for that. Know yourself. Check yourself, isn't it? Know yourself. You have to know yourself, because if you are not the person that, if you are not putting out there what you'd like to see come back, treat others how you'd like to be treated yourself. So if you're being mean and you're not being nice to somebody, then if you get that back and you don't realize it, then You know, if you are experiencing those types of relationships, then maybe you do need to do a little bit of self-reflection and inner work and think, is it all them, or is there some of me too?
Mhm.
That's
Yeah,
a good question, I think.
I think
Quite deep.
you definitely have to self-reflect. I think, you know, in terms of if your subconscious is your subconscious, and your subconscious is always going to put you in a position where it's protecting you, because that's what it's set up to do. And so you then have to question, because you can flip it on it, you could flip it and say, well, I don't go into relationships and I'm happy, but you're not actually happy, because you actually do want to be in a relationship, but your subconscious is telling you that you don't, because it's trying to keep you safe. So you really do have to know, to thine own self be true. You have to be true. You have to get to a place, like I say, it's that awakening. I go back to
Yeah.
that. It's the awakening. Who am I? What am I? Where do I want? What do I want to do? Where do I want to go to? Who am I? Who the dickens am I? You know, we have to get to that.
Dickhead.
Yeah, I think, you know, you know, who am I really at my core, and what do I really want? And then I see a comment from Karen Eastman that talks about the notion of loving someone the way that they want to be loved. That comes down to communication as well, I think. You know, because more often than not, your love language, which I believe that's where she's heading. um you attract, you put out what you like. So I'm an acts of service person. If you're helping me, I can see you. But if you're not, if you want to smother me with gifts, I'm not going to see you, because that's not my language. My language is, come and help me, come and cut the grass, and come and put out the bin. And I don't mean it doesn't have to be like that, but I'm an act of service, quality time type of person. So if you're giving me that, so I will give you my time if I'm interested, if I want to be, and attracting wise, if I'm talking to you and I'm giving to you, then I'm hoping that that will come back. But if you know, so where Karen has said she gets maybe frustrated, if we can go back to that comment, just go down a little bit. There it is. She says, then, because her last part of the sentence was, then I get frustrated and think they're ungrateful, but gifts don't feed their love pot. You should know what each other's love language is. No, you will find that out, and you work on that, you communicate, because that is something that can be worked on. I think love languages is something that, you know, if you tell your partner and your partner's listening to you and they, you know, they want to be with you, I think it's something that, you know, you can work on. It doesn't have to be that you're at each other's throats. You just have to be able to voice what you like. But you know, that's my comment from after being shut out. So put in jail.
I was going to say, I think often men in general, they use gifts, you know, they give women gifts as their love language, but that's maybe not necessarily what the woman needs the most.
Yeah.
In general, I mean, I could, you know, it's not all men, but, you know, a lot of it is about gift giving because it's quite a materialistic thing. And so, yeah.
Yeah.
Whereas women would be, they would have a different love language.
Mm.
What I'm talking about, sorry, Laura, in terms
No,
of
go on.
the list that we talked about before, it's more about not sitting back with a list and expecting that list to be fulfilled. And until you've ticked off all those boxes, you're just sitting back receiving everything that you want. There has to be reciprocity. It's not a like for like situation, but through listening to the person and communicating, then you're going to start to understand what it is they like and what they prefer. And then you can act according to that. But I think sometimes people get caught up on a list and just think, well, until I get this, 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 and this, I'm not doing anything. And then that's going to cause you an issue as well, because you're not, the other person's going to start to get put off.
Yeah.
And you might be missing a good person, because everybody's got feelings and everybody can be vulnerable. And if you're trying to work hard at establishing a relationship and the other person is, you know, just sitting back, then it's not going to be a good situation.
Yeah, I think like with the list, like I think we touched on before, is like it's not something that's like a demanding you must be this like after a date completing it, you know, he doesn't come up to the, it's about realizing what you really truly deeply want from somebody and putting that away and not bringing it out and analyzing this person against this, and you know they score this much out. And when you meet somebody, when someone is brought into your life and you've put that list away, and when that person is the right person, you will know because you will have learned about each other through open communication and building up the relationship through time. And after time has passed, you may come across your list in that drawer in the bottom of your sock drawer or something, and you bring it out, and then you have that aha moment. Then it's not about something you're analysing all the time and checking and judging people on. It's not about that. It's more about connecting and aligning with yourself and what you truly desire from a partner, because so many of us don't even know what we go dating, and we just think sometimes we have low self-esteem, okay? So sometimes whichever man pays us attention, we'll just go with the flow and go with that, because sometimes we might feel we're not good enough because we haven't done the self-work in the healing, and then we're just going on a date with anybody where, you know, and they might not be what we want at all, but we're just doing it because sometimes we may think that we can get. So the list is about connecting and aligning with ourselves and letting go and putting it away, not to be used as a judgmental tool. He doesn't come up to scratch, right? I wanted someone with black curly hair and he's got blonde. Definitely not my man. You're off. It's not about that. It's more fluid and it's getting the thoughts and the feelings out on paper. Does that make sense? Am I making sense?
Absolutely. You are absolutely making sense. And I'm glad you've kind of cleared that up, that it's not about the list. The list is the guide. It's not something that you even really, you're just putting it out there into the universe. This is what I want. And I want to just say, in terms of, from my own personal perspective and in terms of teaching and stuff, it's not, we have to get out of this mindset where he's got to be blonde, or he's got to have brown eyes, he's got to be tall, he's got to be short, he's got to be this, he's got to be that, or she's got to be a size 10 or size 4, a size 20, you know, it's because it's about humanness. It's about connecting in our humanness. It's about us connecting at our core with our energy for the right person, and that right person that is the perfect for you may not be what you think that person is or how you perceive them to look. There's many people that I've spoken to who have been in long-term relationships who have said to me, actually my husband or my partner wasn't really my type, but there was just something about him, the way that he treated me, or the way that she spoke to me, the way that she kind of navigated herself around me, that drew me to her or to him. So it is about attracting energy. It's I really want the understanding. It's not about the look. It really isn't. It's about the energy. It's about what the person has inside of them, because it's about what you have inside of you. Because you can look like, you know, well, you could look like a crow but sing like a mockingbird. Do you know what I mean? Or vice versa, if you get what I mean. Do you get what I'm trying to say here? We fundamentally have to we're big grown people now. We have to take ourselves out of this mentality of, oh, he's got to be this or she's got to be that, and look at the person for who they really are at their core and what they have to offer in terms of partnership, humanness, love, because that is the greatest out of everything. It is true unconditional love, and if you want to attract that, then you've got to be giving that out as well, and so you attract what you want. rather than, oh, he's got to be buff. Even though it's
or
helpful.
6'4". I
Even though,
think as well, everything what you're saying is amazing.
Yeah.
And I want to just add one more thing. It's about, how does that person make you feel? How do you want that ideal person to make you feel when you're with them? It's about the emotions, and like when maybe you've got this on, maybe right, you'd like somebody to cook together at the kitchen or help you with the house. When you're doing that together, how does that feel? Well, that feels like a partnership. It feels like an equal relationship, where if one of you sat on the sofa, one of you was doing it, that's going to build resentment. And I want to touch back on as well Daniel's point about oh gosh, I've forgotten now, but what I mean is it slipped my mind, about doing the bins and stuff, and about the love language, and knowing what you like. Oh, sorry, about the gifts. That's what I'm going back to. Sorry, put my teeth back in. About what Daniel was saying with the gifts. Like, a man likes to give a gift because it's material, but women, you don't realize not all of us are that materialistic. If a man lived with me and he was to just go and do the dish without saying anything, I walk out the kitchen and those dishes are done, or he started tea, dinner, or brought me a cup of coffee in the morning, I would be like, oh, wow, that's the like greatest love language, especially when you're grown up and you've got children or whatever and you're busy. And rather than a bunch of flowers, I take that over a bunch of flowers any day. And I'm sure if you really ask the wives and the women, they were the same. Maybe when we're younger, when we're in our late teens and early 20s, we do like all the going out for dinner and the flowers, and wait till the diamond ring comes. That's the pinnacle, isn't it? That moment, flash the ring. But after that, when you live together, you've got the kids, it's about the practical things. So that, and like Yvonne was saying, it's about time together. So how do you get time together? You both chip in, you both help with the chores, so that you do have then time to sit on the sofa and have a cuddle and watch a movie, glass of wine together. And somebody's not at the kitchen being resentful and the other person isn't doing, and then there's arguments. So the love language is help each other out in the basics of domesticity. The simplest things. Pick your towel up, she can not leave them dry and dry the pots. Each little thing that annoys each other, just do it. And life will become lush and awesome.
I love that.
I think.
A lush life.
It's a simple thing. It's a lush life. It's a Welsh thing. So some places else, other places it means different things. Getting tired now, so my thought pattern's going. But yeah,
listen, we're nearly at the end of the show. we are nearly at the end of the show. DS says it's all about healthy balance, and said true partnership is on all levels, and that's absolutely true. And if we are looking to attract that, then that is what we need to be. That needs to be within us so that we can attract exactly what we want, because the law of attraction is very specific. Tracy Young says, that's me. I love a lush life. It's good. We're going to have, can we have some hashtag lush life?
Hashtag lush life, Laura. That's my...
Yeah. And those of you who are on Facebook, can you just
hashtag lush.
Hashtag love. Can we see that on the thread? Hashtag lush life. I like it. I like it. I like it. I really do. Listen, we are here. We are coming up to the end of the show. We have Laura Hill here from Swansea, and she is our actually Laura's taught. She is a law of attraction coach, but Laura's actually going to be talking about red flags at the retreat. She's the queen of identifying a red flag before they become red. Yes. And so Laura's going
to be loving it. Lush flag.
Yes.
Brilliant. We go viral, Yvonne.
That's it. Come on, put it up on there. Hashtag lush life. That's it. Come on, Richard Anderson, Natasha.
You can sing, Yvonne. You'll have to write a song about it now.
Yeah, I think I will. Yeah, so I love red flags.
Red flags.
Lolly Bailey says, I love red flags. Oh, I like to identify them very quickly.
Yeah,
because
it's best to do that because it's painful.
Yes. So you'll be talking to us, doing a workshop. Laura will be doing a workshop in regards to identifying red flags at the retreat. So if you are interested in that, remember the retreat is happening on the 29th to the 31st of October. You can buy your ticket on my website, which is www.yvonnemichelle.com. I know that it's got my email address on the screen that's going across. If you cannot remember, then email me and I will send you those details. But it is www.yvonnemichelle.com. And you will be able to buy your ticket there online. And also, I'm just going to say that there is a day ticket. We have decided to do a day ticket for the retreat, and that is for the Saturday. And that ticket it's there, and it's just for the day. It's not a stopover. We are looking at a stopover for the Saturday night because that will be the penultimate of the retreat. And we do have a DJ, and we may even have a live band on the last night. So we finish off with a band and really have a really, really good time, because we've been locked down for so long and we want to grow. We want to grow.
We're going to party. I'm going to party. I've got to drive back the next day to Swansea, but I'm going to party.
Yeah, I'm going to party.
So you're all going to come, and you can come and have a drink at the bar with me and Yvonne.
Yeah.
And we'll have a good chat and have a party.
That's right. And you can see on the screen, it's got www.yvonnemichelle.com. If you want to go to the retreat, and I would suggest, I'm telling you, it's going to be absolutely phenomenal. You've heard from Daniel tonight. You've heard from Laura tonight. You've heard from Michelle. I'm sure Michelle will be there as well. Everybody will. I will definitely be there. And it's going to be an absolutely incredible time. And just be ready for learning. Be ready for learning, and then have a little time to have a little something in the spa.
Shimmy and a shake.
A little
in the dancing move now.
It's going to be absolutely incredible.
Oh no, Lolly, look.
Yeah,
she's not going to be at the bar on my own. You can come and talk to me
at the bar on my own. Oh, you know why she'll be in at the, yeah, she will be. Do you know why?
Oh, right,
she'll be attracting the men. That's exactly what she'll be doing.
Yes, then you can. Then I'll leave you alone and we'll join you.
She's got it worked out. So if you've been watching the show over recent weeks, you would have seen that. You would have known that. You would have met Daniel. Daniel had a show and you talked about letting go. You would have seen all of these really great. It's been men up until now, hasn't it, Laura? You're the first female.
Yeah.
You are.
Breaking the mold.
That's going to be speaking at the retreat. So you're going to learn, and you're going to have such a great time, real great time at the retreat. So do book your ticket. Really, really book your ticket. It's no joke. Karen Eastman says, I'm retreating. #lush life. Listen,
lush life.
That's it now. Lush life. Because that's what
it's
we're
going to be
for.
a time now and then.
That's what we're looking for. So for those of you who have just joined us or have just popping in, this is the After Dark show. We have been talking to Laura Hill from Swansea, and we've been talking about the law of attraction and what we have to do in order to start to attract those things that we want, those positive things in our lives. And I just, as a summary, really, I'm just going to go to the panel and just ask you what your takeaways were, and then I'm going to bring Laura in last. Find out what your takeaways for the show is. We've still got a good few minutes. So, I want you to think about what your takeaways were and what, and how that's going to help you to move forward. So, Michelle, I'll start with you.
Thank you. I absolutely agree with everything that Laura has said tonight. So thank you, Laura. I appreciate you. I think one of my takeaways is it's not something that we've actually mentioned so much, but in terms of education, we talked about growth mindset, and it's something that we teach now in schools. We teach the young people growth mindset, to be positive about themselves. So as adults, we need to practice growth mindset, learn about it, so that we can be more intentional and positive going forward.
Absolutely.
Love
Thank
it.
you for that, Michelle. Daniel.
I think it's really an understanding of what I knew previously as well, that Laura has made a bit more concrete. Again, the fact that you visualize in as much detail as possible, either the type of person that you want to attract into your life. And obviously, once you've done that and you've got yourself into that state where she said you've got to get that emotional energy, that vibration, raising your vibration, then let it go. So,
That's
you
a
know,
hard
again, it's probably the most important part as well. So, you know, the fact when she was saying that, it's completely resonates. And I think the two will work together, that visualization, that sort of, you know, that dynamic energy together with that more sort of gentle method of letting go. So yeah, it's beautiful.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Daniel. Thank you. And Laura, tell us, you know, just if you were to give us one nugget, golden nugget, more than what you've already said for the show, what would it be?
Going back to letting go, I would say the law of attraction is 50% visualization and 50% letting go. And the letting go is the toughest, but once you've nailed that, you will see things happening and change your life. Hashtag lush life. So it's that the 50 thing. It is.
Oh.
It's not about 90% keep going, looking at your list, the looking at what hasn't happened, and you oh gosh, you know, feeling annoyed. It's, I want it, I said it, I've written it down, or I thought it, release it. It's not your responsibility then, it's the universe's. Like the Amazon order, it will come. Not up to you to decide when, but it will happen. Look at me now on a live show. Who would have thought? None of my friends. I wouldn't have even thought myself. I've never done a live before, but here I am. It manifested. So it's working for me. And if it can work for me, if you'd seen where I was, I'll tell more of my story another time maybe. But if you saw where I was 4 years ago, you wouldn't believe this right now. You wouldn't believe it.
Absolutely.
So thank you all.
Thank you for sharing, Laura. And to hear Laura's story, you need to come to the retreat. There you go. Fascinating story. She's come from so far. So thank you, Laura, for being on the show tonight. I want to thank my guests. Thank you, Daniel. Thank you, Michelle. Michelle, as always, you know, great advice, great questions, as always, on the show. And I want to thank those of you who are on Facebook, those of you who are on MediaNet, those of you who are on YouTube. Thank you so much for being here tonight. I can see a few people here. Michelle Pendergast, thank you for being here, my darling. It's been a while, but thank you for being here. Good to see you here. Kelly Ross says, brilliant show. I'll endeavour to be at the event and I will even sing a song if I'm asked. Okay, well, we'll see what with the live band. If we get the live band, you never ever know. So make sure you get your ticket. Lolly Bailey saying, I am happy and grateful for all of your knowledge and expertise. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you.
Oh,
thank you so much for that comment. Thank you so much. Nevada Cater says, my daughter has found the man of her dreams. It so happens that this lovely gentleman happens to be my stepson of 18 years. They met on my 60th. What I wanted for both their mothers, I'm seeing this lovely couple give each other. What a blessing. God is good.
Wow.
What a lovely story to end the show on. Congratulations to your daughter and congratulations to you because you have found a more vibrant relationship with somebody that you had a relationship with years ago, and it's now come good and you were able to speak it through. Last comment, Tracy Young, thank you all. Thank you, Yvonne Michelle. Great show. Hashtag Lush Life. Hashtag letting go.
We got another one.
Thank you, guys. Do remember, if you do want to go to the retreat, www.yvonnemichelle.com. Go to my website. The retreat is there. Just look up on the top. You'll see our retreat. Click on the link and book your place, because it's going to be absolutely incredible and you're going to learn so much. 2 days. If you can't do the 2 days, you can do one. But for now, I want to thank you. Thank you, Laura. Thank you, Daniel.
Thank you, everybody.
And we will be back here actually next week, Tuesday, and we have a mindset coach. Elizabeth is coming in. I'm not even going to attempt to say her surname because I'll probably get it wrong, but she'll be here next week between the hours of 9 and 11, next week, Tuesday, on the After Dark show. But for now, ciao, ciao.
Ciao, ciao.
You ready?
Thank you.
You got me running, got me running.